I know, right off the bat, I look a little ridiculous. Okay, listen, I didn't sleep the best last night, and I feel like I say that in a lot of videos. I do sleep decently well, but it was daylight savings, and oh my gosh, there's a cardinal right outside my window. Anyway, so eye patches were necessary, lost an hour of sleep, but it's totally fine. But I have a lot to do today. I have to pack because I am leaving tomorrow for San Francisco, and I'm so excited, and I have literally nothing ready, so that's great. And then I also really want to come back to a clean space, so I really want to get a ton of stuff done. Also, I have to try and finish a lab that I have due at the beginning of the next week, but I'm going to be gone all week, so I don't have time to work on it during spring break. It's a whole thing. So, anyway, let's just kind of get started with the day, okay? I'm also really nervous that I'm gonna forget to check into my boyfriend and I's flights today, and I just have so much going on, and I'm like, I can already feel like I'm forgetting something with packing because I've procrastinated until the last minute, and but it'll be fine, you know? We're not letting negativity into our lives anymore, so it is what it is, you know? It'll be fine. I'm about to head out to make my returns, and I just got a random phone call from a good friend of mine that we went through the second semester of anatomy and physiology together. So we like bonded hardcore, and I don't get to speak to him a lot just because we're both so busy now, but he called me and we had a quick little phone conversation, but it was so nice to hear from him again, so that totally made my day. And now back to the craziness. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm rushing, but yet I take the time to like do my makeup just to feel a little bit better. I don't know. Priorities are like out the window today. Like there is no hierarchy of what is important or what needs to be done. I don't know. We're just kind of vibing. It's fine. It'll be fine. Oh my God, I have to check into my flight. I told you I would forget. All right, I'm just sitting here in the Best Buy parking lot for a minute because I've been running around like a chicken with its head cut off today, and I just need to relax for a second. So, got myself a coffee. I know, okay, you want to know something minuscule that actually really upsets me for no reason, but the fact that Starbucks got rid of its green straws, and I understand that clearly this is probably a more biodegradable, better for the environment straw. I love that. But for some reason, the green straw was so iconic, and now I'm like, ugh, a little white straw. This is like one of my favorite snacks to have, the little sweet potato chips. I love them. Honestly, I've really been trying to not be so anxious lately because sometimes I like really amp myself up for no reason. And I was like, why am I living this way? I literally made a video the other day talking about how I'm not accepting negativity into my life and how it just isn't going to exist for me anymore. And then I kid you not, like 3 hours later, I had a total mental breakdown over my freaking stats lab because none of it makes sense to me, but that's a conversation for another day. I can never tell if I'm in focus in the camera or if my eyesight is just going bad and it looks blurry from farther away. I've really been on a journey this year trying to like find myself, right? And I feel like I'm pretty secure in who I am, but also like I feel like I am just very I feel like I'm living very passively. Like I don't necessarily, I don't know. I go in and out of feeling like that. And like something that I'm working on is like realizing that I so badly want to be like friends with everyone, and like everyone I meet and come across with, I literally always call them a friend. Whether or not we've talked for more than like 10 minutes, I'll be like, oh, I met a new friend today. And I know that a lot of people don't think of me that way, and that's totally fine. And I have to come to terms with the fact that like I get closer to people and consider myself closer with people than they do with me. And that's not a bad thing. But also sometimes it can make you feel sad when like you aren't in the loop with certain things, or people don't tell you things or include you in things. And I used to take it really personally, and I'm still working on not doing that, but I just feel like life is way too short to feel that way. I don't really have any inspiring advice on the matter, except for the fact that it is what it is, you know? Starbies, I know that you probably have so many people that want you to sponsor them, but hear me out. I don't only drink your coffee, but I eat these freaking sweet potato chips, and like I would totally recommend them. So I feel like we should at least talk. Like you can contact my people. We can work something out, you know? So I was really nervous to try on those bathing suits today because I made a video about how I've been struggling with my body just because it's really changed. Like, I feel like I'd never heard of people talking about how your body changes. I noticed it starting at the age of 20, and I feel like my body has started to mature and stuff, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I used to always be very, like, tiny, even though I didn't feel like it at the time, I was. And I just carried my weight in my stomach, and now it's kind of shifted to where I feel like I'm getting a little bit more bottom heavy and like growing into like a little bit more like curvier woman, which is not a bad thing by any means. But it is weird to see that shift. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. But then also just dealing with grief over the last year, my priorities definitely shifted, and there's so many fitness people on social media now, and I feel like no one talks about losing that drive and that passion and just shifting priorities, because honestly, I stopped lifting and working out, aside from like walking and running. So I stopped lifting for about a month over winter break just because honestly, I didn't want to spend an hour to 2 hours of my day doing that. It just wasn't important to me at the moment. But now I'm stuck in that like, oh, it's almost summer and I want to get my summer body ready and whatever, and just feeling insecure. And I'm back to working out, but it's just been hard. Like, I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. And that definitely goes into feeling kind of lost in life, because I grew up not knowing what I wanted to do starting college, then 2, thinking I wanted to do something towards the end of my college, and then I experienced it through an internship, and it was great, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So then I kind of shifted paths, and now I'm teaching and in that environment, which I love doing. I really enjoy interacting with my students and understanding the material and also doing research in that field. I think it's great. It's cool. But there is just a part of me that like still doesn't feel satisfied, and it almost feels like I've become lazy, and I know that's not it, but also like I can't help but feeling that way. And I think it's because I am such an, how do I say this? I talked about this in therapy actually, where I didn't give time to myself, because I started working when I was like 14, 15, and I didn't stop. And then I was going, constantly going to school and then to work, and I was always working the weekends. Like, I didn't really have a ton of days off completely. Now I have the weekends off. Now my job and my priorities and everything has shifted a little bit, so it definitely feels different. And it's just hard not to feel like inadequate or whatever the fact or whatever the case may be. I don't know. It's just weird. So I I totally called it, and I forgot to check into my flight on time, but it's fine. I don't know why, I always feel like I need to check in like the minute I can, as if it changes anything. Also, I am so glad I bought my boyfriend and I our plane tickets a month ago, because he actually wanted to wait, and I was like, no, let's just get them now. They're not like a terrible price by any means. They were fine, so I was like, I just got them for us, and when I tell you, I am so glad, because now with the ticket prices, it's insane. Oh my gosh. I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but as I've gotten older, I have become a little bit more scared of flying, and I also get motion sick. Not too bad by any means, but I just never feel right on a plane anymore. And I'm nervous because this flight that we're going to take is 4 hours, which is longer than I've been on a plane in a long time, if at all, actually. Well, in a long, long time. And then my family and I are taking a trip at the end of the month, which we've had planned for literally 2 years, and we just couldn't push it back anymore. But we have this trip planned, and we're going to be on a plane for, I think it's 9 or 11 hours, and that I'm really, really nervous for. So I had to go pick up Dramamine, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I just don't want to feel like that. So we'll see if that helps, hopefully. When him and I flew back home from New York, I got Tums, and they kind of settled my stomach, but I don't think that was everything that I needed. I probably should have gotten something else. When I tell you, I probably paid like $12 for 2 packs of Tums. I paid $12 for 4 Tums in total. Isn't that insane? Oh, so I looked at the weather finally for when we get to San Francisco, and so I think that we might be flying into rain tomorrow, which is fine. And then it said it looks like it's definitely going to rain on Tuesday, so like half of our trip is going to be rainy, which is not a huge deal. It's whatever. We can find stuff to do indoors. I'm sure there's plenty of museums or whatever. But I'm just hoping that it's not too bad. I'm like, please. But to be fair, we've gotten so lucky on most of our trips. Like, when I was living in Florida last year, we decided to go to Universal for my birthday. And the entire, like, weekend leading up to, because we were trying to decide when we wanted to go. If we wanted to go on Saturday, Sunday, I think I had Monday off, something like that. So we were deciding between these days, and all of them had a chance of rain, and I was like, okay, what do we do? Do we want to actually do it, spend the money, take a chance? And he's like, you know what, let's just try. Better to have tried than not. And I was like, okay. We went on the most perfect day. It literally rained for 1 single minute, and the rest of the day there was not a cloud in the sky. It was actually so hot, and we forgot to bring sunscreen, so we had to pay like $20 for sunscreen because he was burning so bad, poor thing. But yeah, it was crazy how lucky we got that day. I'm out of breath because I was just running around with my dog for a minute, but you want to know something embarrassing? I dead ass almost forgot to pack underwear. I did that when I was younger. I literally forgot to pack underwear, and it was the first time I ever packed by myself. I was young, and when we got down to wherever we were going for vacation, we literally had to buy underwear for me. It was so embarrassing, and now I'm 22 and almost just did the same thing. Right under. Nice. All right, lovely. I am officially so freaking wiped from the day, and we just ordered Mexican food and it just came. So I'm going to end the vlog here. I will see you next time in San Francisco. I'm so excited. Make sure you're subscribed to join along. But as always, I hope you have an amazing day, week, month, whenever you are watching this. Go out and live an amazing life and be kind to others.